All right, everyone get ready, because we are taking a deep dive into all these new Chinese historical dramas that are going to be airing
between late 2024
and 2025.
Yes.
We found this awesome YouTube video that goes through the top 5.
Most anticipated.
Yeah, most anticipated shows. And we wanted to give everyone a little bit of a sneak peek.
Sneak peek.
So everyone can get their watch lists ready.
Exactly.
Way in advance.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see because they're using a lot of like the familiar tropes and themes, but they're also doing things that...
A little bit different.
Yeah, they're kind of like acknowledging the expectations and then they're like...
Twisting them.
Yeah.
So the first one up is The Blossoming Love. And
oh, with a title like that?
I know, right? It's got to be dramatic.
Yeah.
So, okay, this one is about reincarnation, obviously with a title like that, and it centers around the human emperor, Zhao Ming, who sacrifices himself to protect humanity from the divine realm, and then his beloved Hun Dunzu saves a little piece of his soul so they can be reborn throughout time.
Together.
Exactly.
You know that enemies to lovers trope?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a staple in Chinese historical dramas.
Yeah.
It's always really fun because it plays on that overcoming differences and finding that balance.
Harmony. And so speaking of differences in their future lives, Zhao Ming is reborn as Xu Chen, the leader of the Immortal Alliance, and Hun Dunzu returns as Mu Xuanling, who's the Holy Maiden of the Dark Domain.
Oh, so they're on like opposite sides.
Completely opposite sides.
That's rough.
I know. Talk about star-crossed lovers, right?
Totally.
And to add even more intrigue, there's this whole thing about a chaos pearl that suggests some kind of a big battle to save the world.
I always love when they add
an extra element like that.
Like that little extra element of fantasy and myth.
Yeah, so the Immortal Alliance.
Oh, yeah.
We see that pop up a lot in these.
ENGSUB, yeah.
Yeah, it's like this group of powerful cultivators that are like the guardians of the mortal realm.
Like they uphold order.
Right, they like keep everything in check.
Yeah, and then there's the dark domain, which is like, you know.
It's like the opposite.
We're opposite.
Like chaos and darkness.
Yeah.
So having our two leads from these totally opposite
factions.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about conflict.
I know. But beyond the fighting and the conflict and all that stuff, I'm kind of curious about how their past lives
that's a good point.
Will affect their choices now. Like, will they still be drawn to each other?
Even though they're on opposite sides.
Yes.
Oh, that just makes it even more
complicated.
Complicated, exactly.
Like, you can't help but wonder, are those past memories going to resurface?
Yeah.
Are they going to even be able to resist that pull towards each other?
And then there's the Chaos Pearl. Like, what is that even all about?
Yeah. Is it a weapon? Is it some source of power?
I know.
What is it?
So many questions. I know. So much potential for intrigue.
Okay, so next we have Love of the Divine Tree.
Okay.
This one, it starts off very dramatically.
Okay.
So the leader of the Shishan sect, her name is Mu Qingshe, and she sacrifices her golden core.
Oh, wow.
To protect her disciple, whose name is Su Yishui, to seal this dangerous spiritual spring. So for those who don't know, the golden core is basically the source of a cultivator's power.
Right.
So she basically gave up everything and to protect everyone else too.
That's like the ultimate act of selflessness.
Exactly. Wow. But tragically, she's misunderstood and labeled a demonic leader.
Oh, no.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
I know, after all of that.
And of course, Su Yishui, the disciple, he eventually learns the truth, and he sets out to find the Tree of Reincarnation so he can bring her back.
So that's where the title comes in?
Yes. Love of the Divine Tree.
I see.
Now this takes place 20 years later.
Okay.
And we find out that the seal on the spiritual spring is starting to weaken, and this demonic cultivator, his name is Dun Tian, he's like plotting to exploit it.
So the stakes just got even higher.
I know.
Talk about pressure.
I know, and it kind of gives you that classic
good versus evil.
Yeah, but with this ticking clock.
Yeah.
Which adds like a sense of urgency to the whole thing.
Sure, yeah.
It definitely has my attention.
Yeah, this one sounds really good.
So what about you? Do you think this one's going to be kind of predictable, or do you think it has potential to be?
You know, I think it might actually surprise us.
Really?
Yeah, I think the spiritual spring, the Tree of Reincarnation, and then the whole demonic cultivator thing.
Yeah.
It just makes me think that it might be a little more complex than just a simple...
Just good versus evil.
Yeah.
I think you might be right about that.
I have a feeling they're going to be playing with our expectations a little bit.
Okay, so now for something a little different. Moonlight Mystique, we have Bai Shuo, who's a young woman, and she's searching for immortality, and then she ends up saving Fan Yu, who is a powerful demon god.
Oh, now demon god, that can be a tricky one.
Yeah, explain that.
Because in Chinese mythology, it can vary quite a bit. They can be these really powerful beings, sometimes benevolent, sometimes mischievous, and sometimes just straight up dangerous.
So it's like, we don't really know what to expect from Fan Yu at this point.
Exactly, which I love.
So Bai Shuo and Fan Yu, they start out as strangers, right? And then, surprise, they fall in love.
I love
It's like the classic kind of like...
It's like the classic enemies, or at least...
Strangers.
Yeah.
And then, boom, romance.
And what I really love about this one is how it challenges societal norms and explores love beyond all boundaries.
Yeah.
It really forces us to question, like, what truly defines love? And can it exist between individuals from such vastly different worlds?
I love how it pushes those boundaries.
Yeah, me too.
It really kind of
It makes you think.
What's
possible.
It reminds us that love can really appear in the most unexpected places.
That's true.
And speaking of unexpected,
What do we have next?
we have Guardians of the Daffing.
Okay.
This one is like completely different.
Oh, how so?
So we have this modern office worker, and he finds himself transported into a fantasy dynasty.
What?
And get this, he becomes a detective.
No way.
Yes. His name is Zhu Qian.
Okay, so we're gonna get like a lot of humor in this one, I bet.
Yeah, all that fish out of water
Yeah, for sure.
type stuff.
Totally.
I mean, imagine him trying to explain like smartphones and the internet to people in this dynasty.
That's hilarious.
I know. So it's like a historical drama, but it also has a little bit of that sci-fi twist to it.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by how they're going to blend those two genres together.
I know, me too. And the source material for this is actually a really popular web novel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's known for its like intricate plot, witty dialogue, and really compelling characters.
Oh, cool.
I'm really interested to see how they adapt it for the screen.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
So is there a premiere date yet?
Yes, December 15th on Tencent,
Oh, nice.
which is
pretty soon.
pretty soon.
Awesome.
Of course, dates can always change in this industry, but
Always subject to change.
it's exciting to have something to actually look forward to in the near future.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, last but not least, we have The Immortal Ascension.
Okay, I love a good Immortal Ascension story.
This is a classic underdog story.
Oh, nice.
We have Han Li, who is just this ordinary village boy,
Okay.
and he joins a minor sect and embarks on the path of cultivation. So he's seeking to overcome his limitations and rise through the ranks.
So it's a classic kind of
Rags to riches.
rags to riches story,
I love it.
but in the context of like the cultivation world,
Oh, I see.
which I think makes it even more. It's a classic narrative, but it never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
I love that idea of like anyone, no matter their background, achieving greatness.
And especially in cultivation, where you're literally trying to transcend your limitations and achieve immortality.
Total.
This one's going to have, really thrilling action sequences and encounters with
Oh, I bet.
devilish demons and ancient celestials, the whole thing.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, those elements are going to be really exciting, but I'm also kind of interested to see how they handle the theme of ambition.
Oh, yeah.
Like, will he stay true to himself?
Will he be corrupted by power?
Yes.
That's always a good question.
Yeah, because it often comes up in these cultivation dramas.
Yeah, for sure.
And it can lead to some really fascinating character development.
Totally.
So we've got 5 upcoming dramas.
A lot to look forward to.
Each one has a totally unique premise and its own set of themes.
Yeah.
It's hard to choose just one
Me too.
that I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
But The Blossoming Love, it's really grabbed my attention.
The reincarnation plot.
Yeah, and that whole enemies to lovers thing.
Yeah.
It's like calling my name.
It's going to be a good one.
What about you? What's like grabbing your attention the most so far?
I think I gotta agree with you. The blossoming love is really intriguing to me as well.
Really?
I love that whole concept of love enduring across multiple lifetimes, like battling fate and defying all those societal expectations.
Yeah.
It's just a powerful theme, and I think it's gonna be really beautifully done.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, it's not just a love story.
Right.
It's about like the strength of human connection and that belief that some bonds, they